Hey everyone, Chris Bayless here from the Sponsorship Collective. I just want to take a quick moment to thank you for joining me in today's training. We have a lot to cover, and I want to try to keep the training as short as possible. So out of respect for your time, let's just dive right in. All right, everybody, as promised, we are going to dive right into this training. I'm going to go pretty quickly, but please note, you are going to get a recording of this training sent to you by email. So please check your inbox and check your junk mail. So we're going to talk all about how to grow your sponsorship program without spending more time, working longer hours, and making cold calls all day. Unless, of course, you love making cold calls all day, then you are welcome to. But I would prefer a sponsorship program that does not require me to call strangers and try to sell them my sponsorship packages all day, every day. So you're in the right place if you're a sponsorship seeker looking to increase your results. If you're an event planner, conference organizer, nonprofit, major festival, event, influencer, or athlete, if you're frustrated with your results or you're looking to streamline the sponsorship sales process, if you're guessing at your value, if you're just sort of asking whatever feels right and hoping that you've guessed correctly, if you're having trouble getting the attention of brands or prospects or sponsors, then you're in the right place. So we're going to talk about 3 steps to grow your sponsorship program, changing sponsors into real partners. The old method, the old school method feels like this. You're using stock packages. Your valuation is based on how much money you need or think you need. E-blasting sponsorship packages, usually to strangers, filling out online forms, focusing on the cause if you're a nonprofit, right? If you're focusing on mission and vision and trying to get companies to give you money because you're a good cause, this is most certainly the old school method. Highly transactional, logos, and more logos, sometimes called logo soup. But if your primary means of getting cash in the door is by just putting logos on stuff, then you know this to be the old school method. And we really want to transition to a new method, to the new method. And certainly your sponsors and brands want you to enter into the new world of sponsorship. You're building experiences that audiences love. Whoever your primary stakeholders are, love the fact that you've partnered with a particular sponsor. Valuation is based on market value, not need. You are focused on building partnerships, long-term partnerships with your prospects versus highly transactional. You want to create experiential and engaging sponsorship opportunities for you, for your audience, and for sponsors. And in this new methodology, it's actually quite easy to measure return on investment, so long as you understand your value. So my hope is that if you are the right person watching this training, that you'll book a call with us. And the way to do it is actually really simple. At any point throughout this training, you can simply book a discovery session to see whether or not we can help you move through your through the training that I'm sharing with you today quicker, help you get to where you want to be faster. So if you want to jump on a call and talk about whether or not we can help you and how we can help you, you simply, step 1, hit the big green button. Step 2, book a time with my team to have a discovery session. So you don't have to wait to the end. I hope you will. I hope you'll go through the entire training. But if you've heard enough already and you think, oh my goodness, I've got to get out of the old school sponsorship, let's see how the Sponsorship Collective can help. At any point, you can jump out of the training and book a call. So you likely are or should be thinking, why should I listen to this guy? Why should you be listening to me? A quick history about me, who I am. I started in sponsorship many years ago, and I did it all wrong. I was doing all the same bad practices where I was just creating a sponsorship package based on need, gold, silver, bronze, blasting it out the door. It wasn't working. I was really fortunate to have a mentor very early, like 3 months in to working in the sponsorship sales space, named Peggy, and she put me on the right track. I then spent just over 10 years selling sponsorship as my primary job, testing, developing, and building on that system that I learned from my mentor very early on. I tested new things. I treated sponsorship sales like a science experiment more than I did, trying to hit my goals. I tested, lots of stuff failed, some stuff succeeded, and it's those lessons that have really that I've built into our system that we teach at the Sponsorship Collective. So now I run the Sponsorship Collective. We've worked with literally thousands of sponsorship seekers over the years. And this picture over to the right, the reason I chose it is because that's me delivering the plenary talk at a major industry conference that I run every year with my partner, Brad Hoffman. And this was easily the highlight of my career to date. Absolutely, just an incredible experience. So that's why I chose that picture. It was a really special experience for me. And now I travel around the world talking about sponsorship and working with people just like you to build out your sponsorship programs, speak the language of sponsors, and frankly, get sponsorship dollars. That's really what it's all about. So in other words, I discovered an easier way after lots of trial and error through the school of hard knocks. It wasn't fun. Well, parts of it were fun. And what I learned, I've now weaved together into the sponsorship blueprint. So I promise you we're going to talk about how to build out your sponsorship program and how to achieve sponsorship success. We are going to follow the sponsorship blueprint, but you can see here there are 9 steps, and each of those steps is worthy of hours of training. And so rather than going through all 9 steps, we're actually going to focus up here on these 3 broad pillars. And we're going to talk about them in some more depth, how to clarify, differentiate, and launch your partnerships. So this 9-step process is the process that I developed over time, and now I've taken hundreds or maybe even thousands of people through this specific training and this specific process called the Sponsorship Blueprint. So it is the framework we use with all of our clients through our Sponsorship Accelerator program. In other words, this is not philosophy. This is not a theory. These are battle-tested ideas that we have used on the front lines of sponsorship and that we have coached people to do the same. So let's dive in. So this is sort of the kind of hierarchy or path to building real partnerships. And you really don't want to be stuck at the bottom of this pyramid, but the reality is that many of us are, right? So boring sales material with stock levels, right? Gold, silver, bronze, anyone? Guessing at what to charge, right? We need a 500 grand. Let's just divide it across these 3 levels. And if we can't make it fit in gold, let's add platinum and maybe throw in a couple of rubies. Because of that, you really can't measure your return on investment. You really don't have a return on investment because you're just asking for companies to give you money so that you can do the things that you want to do and accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish. So it's not only is it hard to measure return on investment, but there may not actually be any if you're using this model. And of course, you're going back to the same prospects all the time because no one else really wants to hear from you until you've changed your approach. And then at the top of the pyramid, we want to be focused on achieving budget. Now, that isn't the be all end all. That's not actually the end goal of a sponsorship seeker. It feels like it because that's how we're measured. The real goal is building real partnerships. So here's the truth. 90% of sponsorship seekers are trapped in the bottom chunk of this pyramid. And 10%, if I'm being kind, are in this partnership building phase where they're regularly achieving budget. They're creating great experiences for their audience, for their sponsors, and they love their job. Really, it's such a small slice of our industry who I would say are in that sweet spot. So let's talk more about this. If we continue on our current trajectory, right? If you find yourself in this bottom category, the bright red space, and you continue down that path, it does not end well. Right. So if you find yourself guessing at what sponsors want, if you have a small pool of prospects that you keep going to, and if you hold the belief that all you need to do is get in front of the right person, you'll be able to sell them, you're going to find yourself continuing down this path. In fact, you might already be here with burnout and overwhelm. You're being ignored by prospects, you're missing budget, or you have to set a very, very small budget because you really have no confidence that you can hit an aggressive budget or a more reasonable, more appropriate budget. And we just don't have confidence in our messaging and our sales material. When we're sitting across from a prospect, it feels like there's a like you're begging for money almost. It's not great. So we need to make a change. We need to change our mindset and our practice so that we are selling a solution to sponsors, not begging for cash. We need to systematize the sponsorship process. We need to systematize how we're doing valuations, measuring ROI, reaching out to prospects, providing fulfillment reports. We could do a better job if there's a system in place. We need to identify the information sponsors need to make decisions, develop sales materials, and we need to know our value. That changes our trajectory. We are now moving towards real partnerships, happy audiences, multi-year agreements, right? Who doesn't want a multi-year agreement? But you're not going to get it with the old school method. And of course, we're all tired of working too many hours. So once we implement a system and we have a more strategic approach to sponsorship, we get to move up the value ladder and have a different experience in our careers, in how we are seeking sponsorship, and in our revenue generation goals. So how do we do that? We have to implement a system. We have to implement a process. And I mentioned earlier the sponsorship blueprint, and I talked to you about these 3 key pillars. We need to clarify what we have to offer. We need to differentiate and stand out from the crowd, and then we can launch. So let's talk a bit more about that. Let's start with clarify. The goal of the first pillar, to clarify, and the steps within it, within the blueprint, is to get the clarity you need to attract brands. This is not about getting a sales call and forcing brands to give you cash, right? That is well, that's never appropriate. But before we're even ready to sell, we have to go through 6, 7, 8 steps before we're in a position to do so. So you have to define your offering. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, I know what I need money for. That is irrelevant. What you need money for is not the goal. You have to define your offering in a way that sponsors find appealing. What does a brand think you have to offer? Not what do you think you have to offer? And once you've defined your offering, you can move through the process of identifying your audience segments within each property. This is a real challenge for sponsorship seekers. Many don't know who their audience is. So we actually teach an audience building methodology so that you can define your audience segments. You can create a buyer persona that lines up with your potential sponsor buyer persona, and really focus in on that audience, right? Your audience is key to sponsorship success, and that's why we spend so much time focused on it. Once you know who your audience is and you know what you're offering, then you can work to create leverage, activations, cool experiential opportunities based on each of these audience segments. Once you've gone through this process, you understand what you have to offer, who your target market is, who your primary audience is, and ways to engage that audience with sponsors that your audience actually enjoys. Nobody enjoys yet another 30-second speech before a rubber chicken dinner. Nobody wants 100 more companies handing out samples at the end of a race. Well, maybe some people do. People want real experiences that connect them to your opportunity. And we call that activation. So we go through a clarification phase, and that's what you must do in order to get sponsorship ready. Once you've built out and clarified what you have to offer, then you want to differentiate yourself. You want to cut through the noise and attract the attention of brands. You don't want to be in a position of being just another event, just another conference, right? Just another cause, just another athlete. There's something very specific and unique about you and your audience. And before you can talk to prospects, talk to sponsors, you have to differentiate what your offering is and who you are. So that's when we move to valuation, right? Knowing exactly what to charge your prospects, your sponsors, based on current market valuation practices. Now, we've actually created a proprietary process. We have a cloud-based sponsorship valuation tool, and we move all of our clients through that process. If you're creating your own valuation, then you have to ask the question, what would my prospect, my sponsor pay on the free market for the same collection of assets? Now, we've systematized a way to get that answer, but if you're going down the do-it-yourself path, you're going to have to find a way to compare your opportunities to the opportunities that are currently on the market. But what you can't do is guess. Now, you've already heard me speak out against gold, silver, bronze. I'm not a big fan of the gold, silver, bronze approach. And so part of your differentiation is to come up with some bundling strategies. You might have a core set of assets and recognition that you offer all of your sponsors. Great. Then you have to determine other ways to create some customized packaging. Gold, silver, bronze is not the way. Fully customized sponsorship proposals is very important for your big ticket sponsorship sales. But for everybody else, you've got to find that happy middle ground. And I'll tell you, the happy middle ground is not creating 3 levels and expecting your sponsors to choose. What we teach and what we recommend is that you come up with different types of sponsorship bundles and offerings based on the goal outcomes of your sponsors. Maybe it's sampling, maybe it's branding, maybe it's awareness, maybe it's employee engagement. You come up with these different bundles that achieve those goals, and then you can offer those and tailor and customize each of those offerings just a little so that it helps meet the sponsor goals. So rather than going full on custom every single time you talk to a prospect, we recommend sort of a hybrid model, and that's what we teach. In other words, you will be customizing for your sponsors, but it's not going to take you 40 hours of work to do so. Then, as part of the differentiation process, our clients always move to build a business case, not a sponsorship pitch deck, but a business case document that outlines the offering, the audience, the activations, the valuation, the different bundles that are being offered. And then we put that together in a nice document that drives your prospects to you. You want to have conversations with sponsors. You don't want them picking from a list of assets. That is one of the chief challenges in the sponsorship space that causes you to leave money on the table. If a company buys a $5,000 sponsorship package from a document, imagine how much more they would have spent if you just customized a little bit. After these 6 steps are complete, we then move to the launch phase. It's all about building partnerships that last. It's not about getting a couple of bucks in the door. It is about that, but it's not just about that. So we then take all of the data that we've collected when we're working our way through the sponsorship blueprint, and our clients do the same. They bring together all this data, and then that points them to a specific grouping of prospects. Instead of having 100 or 1,000 companies that you're going to e-blast to, or you're going to have an intern go online and fill out their online forms, we teach to come up with a very hot list of leads. We typically focus on 25 prospects who we know want to hear from us. We know they want to hear from us because we've looked at the audience, we've done our research, we're looking at similar properties, we've done basically a triple check to make sure that these prospects want to hear from us. Then we teach a strategy to do our outreach. So you're reaching out to your prospects in a way that they actually want to hear from you. Sending an unsolicited proposal and hoping that they'll bite is a bad strategy. You want to talk to them in a way that frames your opportunity like a partnership, like an investment, and actually gets their attention to lead to a discovery call and a conversation to see whether or not you can help them achieve their goals. After all of that is done, then you move to launch your partnership. There are some strategies. You want to make sure you have an onboarding call with your prospects. You want to make sure you have an activation strategy. You want to make sure that you're measuring return on investment as you go, as you move through the partnership, so that you can provide that fulfillment report when things are done. And that process systematizes our sponsorship offering and our sponsorship practice so that we can move through it quite quickly, create repeatable, reliable results, and I think most important of all, the sponsors that we end up working with love working with us, can measure and articulate the return on investment they received, see you as a real partner, and that's how you have that conversation about signing on for a multi-year agreement. So the sponsorship blueprint is I guess deceptively simple, right? It's 9 steps to move from a place of things just aren't working. You're having some success, but you're not getting the success, the traction, the revenue that you know you're capable of, and moving you through this process so that you can launch your new partnerships, your new sponsorships in a way that you're proving, delivering, and measuring return on investment, and really sitting down as a real partner with your prospect. So the 3 pillars: clarify, differentiate, and launch. Every single sponsorship property has to go through this process. So let me ask you a question. What would it mean to have all of the data and material to present to sponsors using the right language and process? How would it feel to ask for the right amount, to know you're asking for the right amount, right? Without guessing, to be able to prove return on investment to your sponsors. Imagine what it would be like to sit across from a prospect who's actually excited about your opportunity and ready to tell you what they have budget for. The goal is to sit across from prospects who can't wait to talk to you. We are not trying to force anyone to buy our gold, silver, bronze. What we're trying to do is connect with organizations that love what we're doing, that love our audience and love and love our opportunity as much as we do. That's who we should be talking to. So you have a choice. You have two paths ahead of you. There's the path that I took that is really the do-it-yourself path. Right? We have tons of resources on our blog that you have access to, our YouTube channel. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the do-it-yourself approach. If you choose that rather than working with us, you want to go down this path and do your own trial and error and learn over a couple of years, that's totally fine. We can still be friends. If we see each other at a conference, I hope you'll say hello, and I hope you'll continue to use our resources. The other path is the path where you are looking for a guide, someone to be able to see around corners and warn you when things are going off the rails, warn you when perhaps you are trying some tactics that have failed many others. If you're looking for a guide and if you're looking for a proven practice, then we should talk. We might be able to help you get to where you're going faster. The do-it-yourself approach will probably get you where you're going. It takes longer, takes some trial and error, and takes some more risk. The path where you have a guide, you have someone showing you where the potholes are and where the surprises are that are waiting for you. So basically, we build all this out for you. This is what we do with our clients in the Sponsorship Accelerator. We use the blueprint as our guide. We help you identify the opportunities that appeal most to sponsors. We help you get clarity around who your audience is, what they want, and how to present it in a way that sponsors actually respond to. We help you through our valuation and return on investment measurement process that has been battle tested with millions of dollars worth of sponsorship sales, tens of millions of dollars. We help you with your bundling strategy and guide you through that process so that you can customize without overwhelming yourself. We help you build out sales material that sponsors actually read instead of just throwing in the garbage immediately. And our goal through this program is for you to secure 3 to 5 new sponsors in the next 90 days. So if this is you, please do not book a call at the end of this training. If you need results in days or maybe a couple of weeks, I had someone come to me and say, can you help me? I need a sponsor in 11 days. The answer is no, we cannot help you. That problem is far deeper than just getting in front of the right people. So if you need results in days, please don't book a call. Get through your emergency and after, then look us up and we can talk about how we would have done things differently. If you're looking for a course to go through to get some professional education credits and tick a couple of boxes where your professional education is concerned, our program is not for you. It's very hands-on. It is very high touch, and you are working with sponsorship coaches to get up and running fast. So you must favor action versus theory if you want to work with us. If all you care about is getting in front of the right person and think that sponsorship is nothing more than convincing gatekeepers that your opportunity is good, if that's how you perceive sponsorship, then I would recommend instead you go through our blog, consume our materials, test that theory, because I think you'll find that it is not correct. If all you want is for someone to review your pitch deck, I get this all the time. Hey, will you just check out my sponsorship proposal and tell me where I've gone wrong? Any consultant, anyone in this space who's willing to do that, I would actually avoid. If they're just going to look over your pitch deck and give you some advice, whether you're paying them or not, it might be well-meaning, but no one can tell you without really peeling back the layers. That's why for us, building the business case is step 6, not step 1. It comes only after you've gone through a transformational process. But if this is you, then you should book a call, and I really hope you do. I think it'd be great to talk to you. If you're serious about growing your sponsorship program, if you have ambitious goals, we want to talk to you. We want to hear from you. If you have a track record in working with sponsors, but it's not where you think it should be. So in other words, you're getting some positive feedback from sponsors. Maybe you're getting some in-kind stuff, like some free stuff, and you're calling that sponsorship. Clearly, you've got an offer that companies are interested in, but it's just not, the gears aren't meshing. If you want to streamline and systematize your sponsorship program to make revenue more predictable, if you want to implement a proven method to shortcut the process and you are ready to do the work, then we want to hear from you. We want to have a conversation with you and see whether or not we can help get you there faster. In other words, if that description fits your situation, then we should most certainly talk. So here's how it works. First of all, you book a call. It's a discovery call. What are we trying to discover? Whether or not we can help you with our process, whether or not the Sponsorship Accelerator is right for you, whether or not your particular challenges and problems are problems we can solve. If we can't help you, believe me, we will be the first to tell you that we can't help you, and we'll try to give you some resources or pointers as to where you need to go next in order to fix the challenge or address the bottleneck. We hold 45 minutes on our calendar for the call, and really the goal is to uncover three things: where you are now, where you want to be in 3 to 6 months, and then the roadblocks that are standing your way. We want to figure out what your challenges are, diagnose, and then if we can help get you there faster, we will let you know. And remember, the sponsorship proposal doesn't make the sale. You do. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate your attention. If you made it this far, if you would like to have a conversation with my team to see whether or not we can help you get the results you're looking for faster, then please reach out and book a call. You'll fill out a short questionnaire to give us some more background information about what you're up to, and then usually within kind of 2 days to 10 days, we can jump on a call. Don't wait. Spots fill quickly. Thanks again.